You should feel shame when you're that person who doesn't put the shopping cart in the little shopping cart section in a parking lot.
Just put it back, bitch. Just walk it over.
Guys, it is episode 2 of the Bog Boys podcast. Our guest today he's a vigilante. You may know him from many things. You may know him from his work on LA's own The Woody Show, where he was once electrocuted to the point of diarrhea.
Oh my God. He diarrhea.
You may know him from that. We, of course, know him as Agent Sebastian, the founding father and lead agent in the Cart Narcs, which is a specialized group of highly trained operatives that fight some of society's most egregious injustices and deliver their own special brand of justice by the means of confrontation and public shaming. We talked to him. We thought maybe he was just really into cart etiquette as a bit. Nope. Check him out.
Sorry, ma'am. Cart Narcs here. Cart Narcs. It's not where the cart goes. That's it's blocking the handicap access way. Cart corral's right there. See where that guy is?
Yeah.
Why aren't you taking it back?
I'm in the handicap spot. Sorry.
But then the next person who's here, if they had a chair or something, they couldn't get out.
I'll remember that. Sorry.
Well, you can do it right now. You don't have to remember it.
Sir, I have cancer. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry to hear that, ma'am, but
I'm sorry.
the next person could have cancer too.
Okay.
I have a bumper sticker for you that says about cart narking. You've been cart narked, and it's got our hotline number on it, sir, if you want to take that and call it.
Take it, keep it. I don't need it.
No, sir, yes, you do, because you just left your cart in the middle of the spot. Here, I'll put that right there for you.
Hey, you know what? You playing fucking games? I don't need that.
Well, I have more. I've got another one here if you like it.
Give me more.
Well, no, I think you're going to throw it away if you do it.
Well, I don't want the motherfucker on my thing, okay? So get the fuck away.
But you deserve it because you left your cart, or your wife, I guess, left your cart where it doesn't belong.
What is your fucking problem, dude?
Leave us alone.
I'm the cart narc, sir.
I don't give a shit.
We're out here to protect people from people who leave their cars.
Thanks for joining us, man. Sorry about the technical difficulties there.
No, it's part of the game these days, unfortunately.
Yeah, but where are you calling in from?
Outside of Los Angeles, Burbank. We're technically a city within a city.
Headquarters. Cart Narc headquarters?
That's correct, yes, sir. Our secret lair, deep underground.
What makes an electrocution dump so much better than just a normal dump?
An electrocution dump better than a normal dump.
When you get tased and you take
that. Oh, yeah. No, it's in all ways it is worse. It is not better. That is it's the worst kind of thing in the world. I wish it upon nobody.
And now is that why that you favor the bumper magnet over any taser or non-lethal as your weapon of choice?
Yeah, that's something we've been considering. Is I have at times brought like a pepper spray or mace with me, just in case. But yeah, I'm certainly not bringing any kind of firing weapon or anything like that, because I don't want to escalate. Like, I don't want it to be an arms race. I only had one person attempt to tase me, and one person threatened to shoot me. But I don't want to then, if I'm pulling something out and then they pull something out, I just want to keep all conflict as low as possible is the ideal.
What happens? So you have a hotline on there, and we never see the follow-up. So what happens if somebody actually calls you? Where is it? Is that just going to like a Little Caesars pizza? Like who answers?
Oh, no, it's an actual voicemail I've got set up, and I've gotten a handful of calls here and there. I think people, unfortunately, they don't see the error of their ways, or they're too ashamed, or some combination thereof. So actually, as of about a week or two ago, we stopped blurring out that hotline number. We're going to keep that as an open line so that anybody can call at any time. That way it's not just relegated to the people who, are dealing with us in that interaction. So hopefully that'll give us a broader base of people to talk to and to help.
Well, I got to ask you this. With this whole defund the police movement going on, like, how do you keep up with making these? Can you keep up with making these tags, these stickers?
Oh yeah, luckily they're not too expensive. The little bumper magnets are less than $2 a piece, and I'm privately funded, so I don't have to worry about any kind of city council, voting my funding away or anything like that. Good question, but yeah, that's the one thing about the Cart Narcs is we don't. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say, was the question there? Are you worried that you are at risk of also being defunded?
It's possible. Who knows? Some people are getting kicked off social media platforms left and right these days for what's oftentimes are seen as dubious reasons. So I guess all it takes is one moderator on one of these social media platforms not to like the Cart Narcs message and bump us off. That's why we try to diversify as much as possible.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think that your message has resounding support. Clearly, where did you find this eye for justice?
It's a good question. It's the whole Cart Narcs idea came out just sitting in the office with a guy I worked with one day, and we were just talking about people who don't have any regard for other people, be it littering or parking in two spots, not washing their hands after going to the bathroom, like anything where they think their time is much more important than anybody else's, and I'm gonna do whatever the hell I want. And shopping carts, leaving those out was certainly one of the things we discussed, and it was the thing that is most centralized in a location. It's kind of hard to catch someone in the act of littering because that happens all the time everywhere. But with shopping carts, you just hang out in the parking lot and there they are.
I like, let's go to that catching them in the act part. What would you do if, you're on duty as a cart narc and you see a homeless man with a cart?
Ooh, that's like the ultimate not returner to the cart corral.
Yeah, it's like
long-term not return.
That's very very good point. And we actually made a video about this like a year and a half ago, and then recently reposted it. A lot of people did not like it. They posted it on Reddit's cringe section, which is where for people who apparently are embarrassing themselves or doing something cringeworthy. Of course, we don't agree with that. But the language that Reddit didn't like, it was that we were shooting a video talking about that. Hey, when it comes to homeless people taking carts, because the video showed a couple homeless guys with 4 or 5 carts all stacked around them, all full of garbage and stuff. And they had basically taken over this side of this Target parking lot. And we were explaining that, we can't bust or narc on the homeless people because that's more of a criminal violation. What the Cart Narcs narc people on is just a common courtesy violation. Nothing, people will say, oh, well, leaving your cart out's not illegal. And we say that's the whole point.
So you do not beat them and take it back?
Well, we don't beat anybody. Let's make that very clear. We never engage in any kind of physical. People. That's a good point, actually. That people will message us and say, "Oh, you pussy! Why didn't you stand your ground against that woman that was charging you?" I'm like, I'm not going to fight someone over a cart, whether or not I'm going to win the fight. It's like that's not the point. We're here to de-escalate the situation, to make the world a better place. And unless it's a life and death situation, we're never going to lay hands on anybody.
That's a good question. Not why did you not beat up that woman in the
Agent Sebastian, why did you not beat up that woman that threw a soda on you? Do you remember what flavor of soda that was?
Yeah, well, that was a Bang energy drink. That was the unicorn flavor. It's like a pink and blue can. And then I got hit twice. The soda was a McDonald's cup. It was like a dark, like cola, I'm assuming. I don't know if it was diet or regular Coke. And that's it's up in the air at this point. I was just impressed that she had both drinks in her hands. That came kind of out of nowhere. And then she chased me down, and people were like, "Oh, you pussy!" But then she did pull out some pepper spray, but we used our speed and agility training to escape that situation. Because I had one guy message me, "Oh, it's just pepper spray, you puss." I'm like, I'm not gonna sit there and get pepper sprayed in the face. Sorry, it's not. That's not what we're here for. We're here to talk to people about carts.
Yeah. Do you? So I know there's obviously a pretty rigorous training regimen.
Oh, sure.
Into this. Do you want to talk a bit about that? You're very good at de-escalation, and you're very good at the backpedal maneuver. I noticed you were walking backwards at a very brisk pace.
Sure. If you ever seen like the box drill, you see maybe like in the combine for the NFL where you're going back and forth side to side. A lot of that stuff, a lot of stuff involving, step ups, box jumps. You can do that with or without a cart because carts are good size for that. If you turn a cart on its side and you can kind of hop over the cart backwards and forwards. Because when you are in a parking lot, you don't know what's coming at you. You got your main aggressor or perpetrator in front of you. There could be cars, there could be people with other carts, obviously, kids. So you got to be able to move in all directions, and that's and any kind of training in those movements is very helpful.
When you do your videos, are you wearing that vest?
Oh yes, this is not a bulletproof vest, so that's one misconception because it does look a little bit like that. It's just a basic like gear vest you would have for I think paintball or fishing or whatever. So but it is there to design to show exactly who we are, what we're doing. We can strap our little camera in right here. We got a place for our bumper magnets over here. Keys and sunglasses and whatever. Yeah, this is we don't people to think we're just some weirdo approaching people randomly in the parking lot.
You're not some weirdo. It says Cart Narcs.
You're into a public place with like a bulletproof vest, glasses.
Well, I had some cops approach me not too long ago. They drove up and they said, "Oh, we thought you were like a bounty hunter or something." I'm like, no, just here for the carts.
In a sense. Yeah.
Yeah, cart bounties.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Is their pride and.
I think more domestic terrorism, but yeah.
Yeah, well.
Well, on a small scale.
I can tell just by our conversations leading up to this that this guy's a total lazybones and he does a lot of curbing. I've never gone grocery shopping with him, but
well, that's unfortunate. We get that a lot. That's the message we do get a lot is people say, I used to not even think about it. I used to just throw it up wherever. But watching your videos, I'm like, oh yeah, I should be thinking about this. So we don't say that anybody is irredeemable. There's always a chance to come back.
Yeah.
Wait. Okay, look into my eyes. Do I look like a lazybones, a true cart narc? Consent?
No, not off the top of it. And actually, you guys are relatively young, and that's another complaint we get a lot is, oh, you don't approach young men enough or whatever. And first off, we don't care either way, but it also has to do with the demographic. People, young men, especially in their 20s and 30s, aren't buying a ton of groceries for like the whole family. And if they are, they're often carrying them out by hand, or they have the full ability to take the cart back. So, it's the most, I guess, for us, the best get would be a younger guy because they have zeros and zeros of excuses, but it just doesn't happen that often.
Yeah. I feel like I could draw a picture of the average lazybones. Mm-hmm. And it's usually, I think if I drew the picture, she would be wearing bedazzled jeans.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. We had one in Utah a couple months ago that was pretty much, she had like the little rhinestones and stuff on her jeans and the whole, what they call the little Karen haircut and all that stuff. And I think she would fit right into what you're talking about.
Yeah. What do you, why is it so important that people not be a lazybones?
Well, because it affects every single thing you do in life. It courses in and out of your body. It's how you perform at school, how you perform at work, how you perform with your friends and family. It's just it's a very much I guess a mindset of thoughtfulness for others and non-selfishness for yourself. And whether it comes out in leaving out your cart or not saying thank you to your mother when she prepares you a nice dinner, that there's a whole, or crossing the T and dotting the line, crossing the T, dotting the I's. In fact, there's a tweet from this coach. I guess he's a football coach, and he talks about how the people that don't return their carts are the same kids who didn't all go all the way and touch the line in gym class. So if you're doing like laps back and forth or whatever, some kids would, they turn around before they touch the line, and it kind of that filters down through your whole life about doing things the right way and the best way.
Yeah.
Right. So like Michael Jordan, not a lazybones. Do you think he puts his cart away?
No, I guarantee it, because look at it. He was always the first guy to practice, always the last guy to leave. There's a famous story where he was shooting Space Jam and he made them install a full basketball court because he was still practicing 6 hours a day. He didn't have to, and people talk about, well, he wasn't an awesome player in college, and even his first few years in the NBA, he wasn't winning championships. But it's that work ethic, the doing things right, that I think really led to him to where he got and is today.
I know a guy that didn't touch the line in gym class, and now he's a crack addict. So
that unfortunately, those two things are highly correlated.
Now, if a cart narc, like yourself, saw a lazybones that looked, somewhat like me,
do you mean black or with glasses?
Black with glasses.
We don't discriminate on age, race, gender, sexual orientation, sex at all. The only thing we do discriminate upon is we don't narc out people we see with smaller children and the elderly. Just not that it's an excuse, because if you can get your kid to the cart, you can put the same process in reverse. But it's kind of a PR optics thing. It gives the commenters one less thing to pick at, it gives them one less say, you went after her with kids. And we've got videos where the mom puts the groceries away, takes the cart back with the kids, puts the cart back, takes the kids, just like she did when she got there. But we take that off the table. So just so there's no confusion about that.
Not exempt, is what he's saying, Miles. You're not.
Oh, but by no means.
Body cam footage, so I don't know.
I can see that, yeah.
I was so there was one video where I believe the woman's son was autistic.
Well, we don't know exactly, but yeah, he was, and we don't even know. We kind of learn a lot of things after the fact, as you might imagine. But yeah, it's where she had taken the cart, just kind of put it off to the side, and it was rolling back towards her car. But her son was in the front passenger seat. She was yelling at me. Immediately went to call the cops. I didn't do anything. Didn't put a bumper bag down on her. I just said, "Hey, would you take that back?" She's screaming at me, yelling at me, to the point that her son, who did this, seemed to have some kind of disability, was like, "Hey, this woman, who I think might have been his caretaker or full-time nanny. I don't know if there's a group home issue there, but whatever." Said, "Hey, she must be in danger because she's yelling at this guy." And he comes out of the car and comes charging at me, and he's probably 6'2", 6'3", probably 30 years old or so. And so in that case, I didn't know anything about him other than he appeared to be a full-grown adult. But we immediately de-engaged at that point because it was clear that however she was acting was pissing him off, and he was sort of an innocent bystander.
I got a question. What's the worst parking lot? Where do you get the most action?
Okay, well, there is usually it's the worst part of town. The worst parking lot's going to be situation-wise. Just because you have a combination of factors there. Number one, you've got people that don't care about personal property as much, on average, not always, but on average. Number two, you have stores that are usually less well kept care of. You have cart boys and girls who are going out less often, less of a frequency, and they usually have fewer cart corrals. So the smaller chains are actually worse than the larger chains. I would say on average, your Costco's and your Targets have the most frequent, kind of lot cleanage up. But if you go to like smaller, either regional or independent stores in the bad parts of town, those are typically the worst parking lots. There's a place, I don't know if you guys have it. It's called food discount warehouse or something, or grocery. But there's one in Compton down here that I go to that's just an absolute war zone.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've never seen an episode shot in front of a Whole Foods. That's all I'm saying. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, there's a couple. We try. I mean, it's not out of the question. I'm trying to think if we have any. Nothing recently, that's for sure. Yeah. They usually have smaller parking lots too. With them and Trader Joe's, it's tougher because unless they're in a big complex with a lot of other stores, they're very tight usually on those parking lots.
Yeah. I'm curious if kind of going back to that video where you had to blur out, pretty much half of the people that were on screen. Is there, have you filmed encounters where you really wanted to air it, but for whatever reason you're just like, we can't?
Nothing. I mean, we've managed to. We blur out individuals who are just innocent bystanders who have nothing to do with anything. Who are drugging. There was another video with the security guy who stopped this guy who's trying to fight us that we blurred him out. But no, nothing really ridiculous that we've wanted to show people that we haven't. Because usually you kind of get a sense for that ahead of time. Like we mentioned, that one video, that guy kind of came out of nowhere from the passenger seat, so we didn't see him ahead of time. But usually if there's somebody you can tell that they're dealing with something heavy, we don't even make that initial confrontation.
Mm-hmm.
Rule 1, being a cart narc.
Yeah. No, it's smart.
Well, yeah, empathy is always the top priority, and that's what our mission really is, thinking of others.
Yeah. If it wasn't carts, what would it be? Or what do you want to do now? What's the next social justice that we can attack on this?
Well, it goes back to what I was talking about people who think their time is better than others, and it's tough because we don't know when and how or where we're allowed to go in public, and you don't want to be too close to people. But we already have I bought the jacket for Cart Narcs, and it's like a blue FBI style, coach's jacket. And the idea there was we'll go to public bathrooms and wait for someone out to wash their hands, and then as they leave, hopefully we can shame them into returning to wash their hands. It will involve us sitting in public bathrooms for long periods of time in stalls. At malls and stadiums and places like that. As soon as those begin to reopen, hopefully soon, we'll be able to do that. And especially after the coronavirus, I mean, hand washing should be so high on people's list of priorities, that it should be that much more of a cut and dry case.
Yeah.
You could also call it the poo-poo pee-pee patrol.
That's one option. Yeah. That's we were thinking of, we're doing something for dog crap at some point, Cart Narcs, something like that. That's again harder to catch. You got to kind of go to the right place because it's more, it's not as centralized as a bathroom or a shopping mall.
I thought when you said fart narcs, that was going to be about people that farted in public, because
Yeah,
you should send me a vest because I got one right here. We can shame.
I've been farting.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. But again, it's tougher to identify the perpetrator in those cases, sadly, until we get to more advanced DNA testing.
Did you ever watch When a Stranger Calls?
When a Stranger, can you remind me what was that about?
Well, the horror movie, I think it might have been like the 80s was the original. They did a remake like 10 years ago, but it's the guy who's inside the house with the girl who's babysitting, and he can throw his voice. That becomes one of the things where he can make it, she thinks that he's in the next room, but really he was right next to her because he was a ventriloquist.
Interesting.
I can do that with my farts, so good luck catching me.
Yeah, there's all kinds of complications in that kind of situation. Again, if the technology's there one day, you may have seen, I think if you look it up, there's like infrared cameras you can see, because obviously it contains heat. So maybe that's the solution, is you just sit there with some infrared goggles and kind of look at people's rear ends, maybe.
Yeah.
And that's why we need a $4 billion police budget.
He doesn't get that budget though, right? I keep explaining this to him that you aren't funded the same way.
It looks
not yet, but we're not against it if a municipality wants to engage our services.
Right now, it's obviously real hot lava politically. Now, positive or negative, you seem to deal with this special brand of justice very well. Do you have a message that you'd want to send out to your brothers and sisters in law enforcement?
Oh, as far as that, well, keep up the good work. Obviously, if I could be of any bit of a model for how to de-escalate and not use violence whenever necessary. Obviously, they deal with a much more extreme version than I do. So they've got way more life and death on a daily basis than I do. So, that's, I'd say on both sides. Number one, be as peaceful as possible. But number two, to the people out there, don't go nuts all the time.
Go nuts. Don't
go nuts.
Don't be
if everybody just didn't go nuts, the world would be a better place.
Well, look, keep doing what you're doing. I'm all for it. I think it's probably the biggest issue, right? Second big. It's probably the biggest issue. So I'm glad that it's in good hands.
Sure.
Well, certainly for us, yes.
What can we do? What can the every man do?
So I get a message. I get dozens of messages every day saying, I want to be a Cart Narc in Ohio or Austin or wherever. And obviously, as we discussed earlier, we cannot encourage everyday citizens to make their own confrontations. It's, if you ever watch the old Jackass episodes, do not try this at home sort of stuff. So what I tell those folks is just put your cart back and encourage your friends and family to do the same. And if that virus of responsibility spread through America, it'd be a better place.
That's the virus we need.
That's the virus we need. Couldn't have said it better myself, man. Great.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate you putting some action behind it. And thanks so much for your time, Sebastian. It's been a
Thanks
pleasure.
for having me. And I'll be in Austin, hopefully. I don't know when you guys opening back up. A month, 2 months,
We're very fickle over here, man. That's the thing. We were open, then we're closed. Come in a week, feel it out. No, I'd say probably in 4 to 6 weeks. It'll probably be cool again.
Well, we'll do another tour through the area and hopefully set some people straight.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, man. If there's anything we can do to help while you're here, you let us know.
Yeah, if you want to.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Sorry?
He said, if you want to deputize me, I'm all for it.
I'll keep that in mind.
Cool. All right, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me again. Appreciate it.